to quiche or not to quiche? That is the question. And the answer is yeah. Hello all you puny weaklings, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Cooking with Conan. I'm your host Conan, and this is Cooking. In case you didn't realize already, on this week's episode, we're going to make quiche. This is not any ordinary quiche, this is breakfast quiche. This is what you make when the troops are hungry after a long night. Before we begin, we'll go over our ingredients. We'll start with our eggs. We need half a dozen at least. Then our meat. In this case, I'm gonna use ground sausage. But you can use any meat you like, even you vegans and vegetarians. You can use your non-meat meat. You know what I'm talking about. The non-meat meat. Onions, tomatoes, tiny sweet peppers. They're so scrumptious. Hash brown potatoes. We're also gonna have some cheese. Then we'll go over our spices. I usually like to use salt, pepper as always, little garlic powder, and I like to use some fresh garlic as well. Now that we're ready to prep, let's chop up our peppers and onions. Yeah! Yeah! Now that we've chopped our peppers and onions, let's go ahead and get our tomatoes. Let's prepare the eggs, shall we? Yeah! 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 Yeah. Now that we've cracked all our eggs into our bowl, we need to mix them up. For this, I'm going to use the arm of my last enemy. We're going to mix them really good. The key to fluffy eggs is you want a lot of bubbles in there. So let's get mixing. Now that the eggs are mixed up and have plenty of bubbles, you want lots of bubbles in them. We're ready to start cooking. We're gonna start first with the hash brown potatoes out of the bag. The first thing we need to do is we need to heat up our pan. So we're gonna heat it up to a high medium, and we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of oil. So now that our pan is nice and hot, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add our potatoes. Once you add the potatoes, you want to season them a little bit. We'll put some salt and some pepper and a little bit of garlic powder. Now that they're all seasoned, what we want to do is we want to mash them down into a single layer, and then we want to separate them into 4 different pieces. This is very important when cooking. It allows the steam to escape and it makes sure that the potatoes cook and brown evenly. Now that the hash browns are all cooked and crispy, we're gonna put them to the side and cook our meat and veggies. And we're gonna make little meatballs. It's very important that you break the meat up into tiny pieces. This is the same if you're making biscuits and gravy. So we'll go ahead and just pinch off little meatballs. This is gonna make sure that our meat cooks evenly. Now that we've got our meat all broken up and simmering, let's go ahead and season it. Now that everything is cooking, let's go ahead and add our peppers and onions. Now we'll just let everything cook until the onions are translucent and the meat is cooked. Now that the meat and veggies have had a time to cook and they're living harmoniously together, we're going to combine them with the hash browns. Once I do this, I like to mix everything up. Now that it's all flattened out and it's cooled down a little bit, we'll go ahead and we'll add a little bit of our tomatoes. We'll sprinkle some in. and then we're gonna pour our eggs over top. We'll give it a little shake to let those eggs settle in, and then we'll top it with the rest of our tomatoes, and then all of our cheese. This cheese will give it a nice, crispy, fatty crust on top. A fatty crust like all you puny weaklings. Now that we've got all our cheese added, you can see it looks nice. We'll go ahead and we'll put it on our preheated oven. Our oven's been preheated at 350 degrees. This will make sure that it doesn't overcook. We want the cheese to melt. Everything else is already cooked, so we're just melting cheese at this point. Now that our quiche is cooked off in the oven, the cheese is melted, and everything is all yummy, it's time to eat. Look at that. Conan's quiche. So we'll cut it into slices like a pizza. So I'll grab one piece, maybe two. And then we'll move over to our toppers. So I like to do a little sour cream. I also like to do some jalapenos. And then you can use your favorite hot sauce. I prefer Tabasco. I also like El Yucatec. And then we'll throw a little salsa at it. Is it salsa or salsa? That's a Seinfeld. And then finally, the moment you and I have all been waiting for, we get to feast. Let's give this a taste. It's delicious. Thanks again for stopping by, you puny weaklings. I really appreciate it. Now get out there, go make some food, and hit the gym. Yeah!